From Yahoo Entertainment. Alec Baldwin may soon be criminally charged in Rust shooting. New letter shows. We got him.
We got it, boys.
We finally got him. Can't believe how long it's been.
Dun, dun, dun.
I was worried he was going to get away with it.
I heard he was like locking up his house and everything. His $29 million house.
Oh my goodness.
Like,
Didn't he just have a baby? Didn't his wife
7
just have a
Can't
baby?
keep getting away with it.
Apparently he can.
And it is the shooting of, God rest her soul, Helena Hutchins.
Yes.
Who
Correct.
lost her life on set after Alex
Alex?
accidentally. What's
Alec?
his name? Alec.
Alec.
What's his
Alec.
name? Alec Baldwin.
Inadvertently, we should say, allegedly,
Yeah.
inadvertently
Look at
unloaded,
this.
fired a bullet. And killed her.
DA Mary Carmick Altwise filed an emergency request for $635,500 in funds she says are necessary to prosecute up to 4 people in connection with the accident. The LA Times obtained a letter in which Carmick Altwise lays out her office is considering homicide charges as well as gun violations. So we don't know for sure who those people are, but come on, why would it not be Alec Baldwin? Homeboy is going to get criminally charged. We'll see what happens. They're going to give him a slap on the wrist still, but a homicide charge? Yo.
My favorite, we covered the story today. Josh Young wrote it for us. My favorite part was when it says, no, Baldwin said, I would never point a gun and pull that trigger at them. Never. In August, an FBI analysis concluded that Alec Baldwin pulled the trigger of the gun that killed Cinematographer. Yeah, I think it's obviously he pulled this trigger. Obviously he did this thing, whether he intended to do it or not. And then you saw there's the video of him from set talking about or showing like how he pulls the gun out, and he said he didn't have his finger on the trigger, and he does have this finger on the trigger.
He lied.
Yeah,
He did.
He lied.
He shot that lady.
And I think he can't handle it. I think he can't handle that he did this thing. You know?
I said it way back when, and I'll say it again.
But I think he probably did it.
The simple solution is that he intentionally killed this woman, and the conspiracy theory is that this weird Final Destination-esque thing occurred where he accidentally shot and killed her. Like, the crazy thing to me about the whole story is that, let's say the wrong person had the gun and then real bullets were accidentally put in it. Alec Baldwin still would have had to have pulled the trigger while pointing it at her.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you can believe this thing happened where like the gun is like on the table and then someone like slams the door and it falls down, lands perfectly upright, and the whatever it's called, the revolver, the wheel comes out, and then bullets roll and then fall and land in it perfectly, and then it rolls over and closes, and then someone picks it up and puts it back on the counter, and then they open it and then hand it out. Like, all those weird things could have happened, I guess.
Anything crazy could happen. But
you know, Alec Baldwin just killed a lady that he was presumably
seems more likely.
fighting with over what was going on in the set.
I think someone hated Alec and loaded that gun behind everybody's back, and then they just, because they were so negligent on set, no one checked it, and then he went and he was toying like he was an 11-year-old kid, like, I want to kill and he's like fantasizing about killing her with an empty gun, and then there was actually a bullet.
But so here's the thing,
pretty
Ian.
good,
the issue with that is that it
assessment.
requires you to make up a circumstance.
That's for sure. That's the most
my
likely
scenario is that Alec Baldwin was seen in a meeting with her. He was seen having dinner with her. They were not friends. He called her very aggressive and intense in a previous interview. There were problems on set. Those things are facts.
So you think he meant to kill her?
Yes. What I think is that the most likely outcome, maybe it's only 5%, but you know, for Ian's point, that someone secretly loaded the gun, you're making up why. There's no evidence and no circumstance to support why someone would do that.
Well, motive would be that they hated Alec Baldwin because he was such a horrible producer and the set was so grueling. People were unhappy.
Then
People
why would they kill
out.
Helena?
I don't think they knew what was going to happen. They were going to frame him for murder, basically.
See, the problem with that is you're saying the crew was angry. That we know. So they put a real bullet in his gun, but that would end up injuring not Alec Baldwin. So it's like, perhaps you can assume the person who would have done that was reckless and also didn't care that they would kill an innocent person.
Yeah.
I think that's a bigger leap than Alec Baldwin was fighting with a woman who was a crew member, and the crew were having problems, so he shot her.
So
Ian's version though would do really well on something like Magnum PI.
Yeah, let's write
That's
it.
right.
Yeah,
There will be a movie of the week about this.
right.
In
It
10
would
to
be a
20
terrific.
years, maybe
It would be a
less.
terrific mystery.
Well, so if this
Jessica
court case,
Fletcher would figure it out.
Okay, I don't know. Who
Murder
that is
She
yet.
Wrote.
Oh, okay.
Never mind.
If this goes to trial, then are they going to try and figure intent? Is that what this is all about? To figure out what the
Depends on what they
intent?
charge him with. So I don't know, man. A lot of people were like, he's an actor. He was handed the gun. It's not his fault. And I'm like, do you think that matters?
He's an actor. He's handed the gun, and it is his fault.
Yeah.
As well as the producer's fault for not overseeing.
the
It's the
producer.
armorer's fault.
Yeah.
He's one of the like 4 or 5 producers.
Yeah.
All the producers might be on the hook for this. I wouldn't be surprised if they charged the armorer because she handed the gun to the assistant
Yeah,
director
probably one of those 4.
I think the AD actually handed the gun to Alec, and he wasn't supposed to have his hands on that gun.
Well, they were also struggling with production, and people were complaining on set that the film wasn't budgeted correctly, and a lot of the staff were asking for a proper budget for the movie. So there was, a lot of disputes, a lot of arguments. What really happened here, I don't know.
Only one person should be criminally charged, and that's Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
If someone hands you a gun for any reason, and you point it at another person, pull the hammer back, and then pull the trigger, or you've already got the trigger depressed, you shot that person. It's crazy to me that there's the liberals are arguing, the left is arguing that because he's an actor, he's in some special privileged class. And I'm like, I don't know. That makes no sense to me. I don't care if you're an actor or not. If someone's like, we're doing a stunt and I'm going to give you a sledgehammer, but don't actually, swing it at my face. And then you do. It's like you hit him in the face with a sledgehammer.
If they had waivers signed and it was like, hey, we're going to be swinging sledgehammers, everyone's saying if something happens to me, then the production's not responsible because we don't know, it's very risky, and they know the risk ahead of time and someone gets killed, that's a different story.
Perhaps.
I don't know if that's a different. I don't know that you could give up your liability for getting killed. Do you know what I mean?
But it is a fair point that Helena Hutchins knew he would be pointing the gun at her, and she chose to be there under those circumstances. So that probably does put it more simply into an accidental space. Like the sledgehammer thing could work, but if you're doing a magic trick where you're supposed to swing a sledgehammer at someone and they escape before you hit them, and then they get hit, well, in that case, you, the person with the sledgehammer, were telling them to do it, and apparently they're saying on the film, Helena Hutchins is telling Alec Baldwin to pull the trigger.
Oh, wow.
Well, she's telling him, point it here,
get
the shot, and Alec is getting frustrated or something, and then he finally goes off and hits her.
I can see it happening. It's so crazy. It's just such a casual thing that could go wrong, which is why gun safety is so important.
But that's the thing, they shouldn't use real guns.
No, they shouldn't use real guns. I was working on a show once, a play, and we had a shotgun in the play, and we were using a real gun, but there were no bullets on set anywhere, but it was still super intense and a big deal if you were handling the gun. There were intensive rules about if you were handling the gun, even though there were no bullets anywhere on set at all.
Yeah, there were supposedly no live rounds on set for this movie too, is what everyone was told.
We didn't have not only we had nothing ever went in the gun, but we were so careful with that thing.
Okay, I just want to point this out. In the Yahoo Entertainment story, it ends by saying this. Alec Baldwin feared he would be killed by Trump supporters over Russ shooting. It's not a link.
I don't politicize this.
No.
What does that mean?
There's no link there.
Do a little Google search of that. What is that?
They just added this to the end of the story as an aside, Trump supporters were going to kill him, he thinks. Why would they put that at the bottom of the story?
Clickbait.
Maybe he was in the car with that guy in North Dakota, who's him and that guy are super tight apparently.
Totally. Oh, man, did you see that SNL is they think it's going to end?
Oh, let's talk about it.
Really?
Well, they lost 8 members.
Why?
Because the show's garbage.
They have their first non-binary member, so obviously it's going to do amazing right now.
Okay.
What?
Edie, what's her name, is left the show. They're 80
Pete
Bryant.
Davidson, Kate McKinnon.
Oh, really? But didn't they
Kyle Mooney.
They were
Shout out
building
Kyle
with her,
Mooney.
right? They were building with Adie Bryant. They really.
Oh, they had been working
and
on
a feature player quit too. So they had 8 people drop out. I don't know exactly what happened, but here's the issue. You used to have 3 or 4 channels. What was that? You'd have 3 or 4 channels.
That was
and
squeaky.
you'd turn on the night show or whatever, late night show or whatever. And then on Saturday it's SNL. Everybody watched it because that was what to watch on Saturday. Now you've got a million channels, you got a million influencers, you got all these different videos. And what's going on? What?
I don't know.
Is that me?
Not me.
What's that weird noise?
It's not it.
Did you hear
What are you
that?
doing? Anyway, the point is,
It's Luke
SNL
Collins.
doesn't matter anymore because there's on-demand video.
You can watch it anytime. They should just call it NL.
They should just do sketch
Or just
comedy.
L, just live.
They should make a YouTube channel where they randomly just upload sketch comedy.
That is
That's it.
exactly what they should do.
There you go.
Forget the Saturday night thing. It's grueling for the actors anyway. They all know it's like boot camp.
Plus, it's not funny.
Yeah.
It's It's like I don't know. I don't watch it anymore. To be
No, I
honest.
haven't watched it in years and years.
I've seen some real painful sketches. I think Kyle Mooney's a genius. I love the guy.
I've rewatched more Monty Python than I've watched.
Yeah, comedy
Any
should be
news
free,
storyline.
and it should be a critique of our society. But now our society can't be critiqued. We can't laugh at certain ideas. We can't laugh at certain hot button issues, which defeats the whole purpose of comedy, which of course it was kind of a tool in society that made things easy, that made people laugh, that brought people together. And I think the way that society is really being pushed into this really negative way, that comedy isn't allowed, and SNL being off the air and potentially losing its entire show, I think highlights this.
We used to be able to laugh at other people's suffering, which is kind of horrible to think of, but that was like a big part of freedom, is you're allowed to make fun of whoever you want. And this moral police of today, even like in Canada, like you might even get arrested for doing it sometimes, for making people uncomfortable or whatever. Justin Trudeau.
Well, no. If like you make them uncomfortable by saying naughty words, perhaps, but if you make them uncomfortable by wearing big old fake novelty sized
Yeah, now we're talking.
Then you're accepted. You can do whatever you want as soon as you got these things on.
I personally don't like making fun of other people's pain. I don't like doing it personally. I see someone do it to someone else, I find it derogatory and hateful. I'm like, well, I don't like that. But that's comedy, man. That's the history of it. And, damn be the consequences, I guess. Maybe.
But if you're able to laugh at something difficult in life, you're able to, of course, turn it around from being something so negative. So a lot of the times we deal with something very serious. We deal with something that's impacting us. Laughing at it, even though it might be something that hurts you, a lot of the times helps a lot of people deal with a lot of the trauma in our society.
Like COVID, people lost people with COVID. So if people were making jokes about that, like, oh, yeah, grandma in the hospital, and doing a joke like 100 years ago, and then you do the whole too soon, like that's a meme. Is it too soon to joke about because it just happened? But like I couldn't even speak out about the science of COVID while it was happening without getting banned off of Facebook. It was crazy.
Tim figured it out.
Trump should start selling shirts and hats that say the Great Reset. And it should be like, with my election in 2024, I'm going to reset the establishment. We're going to change everything and go back to when it was great by resetting it. That way, all of the elites are forced to say the Great Reset is a bad thing. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.